It's time for the women's draw in Madrid, and the flavour of this week is Jelena Ostapenko. She's just won the previous event, looking very good. Can Iga and Sabalenka force a comeback? Is Coco Gauff going to turn up on the clay? Let's wait and see. This is our draw reaction.
That's right, we're back in Madrid, this time for the draw reaction of the women's. And like you said in the intro, JG, out of nowhere, Jelena Ostapenko fires herself onto the scene. And when she plays her best tennis, no one even comes close. That includes the world number one, Sabalenka, who got blitzed in the final, and the world number two, Iga Swiatek, who... well, it was a closer one, a three-setter, but she still lost again, and it was 6 losses out of 6 against Ostapenko. If she plays this tennis all the time, all year round, surely she doesn't lose a tournament, JG.
Well, the women's tour in 2025 is very interesting because there's cycles, it seems, and there is a new flavour of every month. The year started with the Australian Open. So Madison Keys defeating Iga in the semis, then Sabalenka in the final. The reason that's significant is because Iga and Sabalenka have been the two players on the women's tour for the last few years who are the best. They're the most dominant. Coco's tried to get into that equation, Rybakina as well. But I think it's safe to say Iga and Saba are 1 and 2. Whatever way you want to dress it up, in 1 and 2. I think Saba 1 right now, and then Iga 2. Then we went to Indian Wells. Andreeva beat Iga in the semis, and then beat Saba in the final. And the reason I say this theme is because it keeps happening. 2025 in Stuttgart, now Ostapenko defeats Iga in the quarters and then defeats Saba in the final. So these two players have shown that they can be beaten. And I think it's very impressive that by all, Ostapenko, Andreeva and Madison Keys was able to beat them both in the same tournament in 2025. This has never happened before, where the two most dominant players have been beaten by the same player in the same tournament 3 times, and we're only in April. So, something to consider going into this one. The other story, which is, of course, very interesting, is Alexander Eala, the girl we've covered on the channel, and she, I believe, is a real future contender for the top of the women's sport, and she's going to be back on Madrid. I'm not sure how she gets on the clay. I know she wasn't great in the Challenger the other week, but that's just my thoughts so far on the women's tour. It's very interesting the way it's playing out right now. We don't seem to have them dominant forces who go out and win. There seems to be a dominant force every month of the year.
Yeah, it's exciting though. I like the fact that we're getting some new champions. I like the fact that it's not just total domination from what was the big three. Now it seems it's only Sabalenka and Iga are the big two. Coco Gauff stuttering start to the year, and Jasmine Paolini looking pretty good still and pretty solid throughout her tournaments. It's hard to know who you're going to pick. I love it when we get a fresh face come through like Eala, that someone you can cheer on, someone who's really brought the Philippines into the tennis world. And when you see new countries getting players you can get behind, obviously we had the Fonseca effect as well on the men's side. It's great to see. Obviously, we mentioned she didn't do too well in this first clay court event, which was Awareness in Portugal. She lost to Udvardi in the second match of the tournament. But I wasn't expecting her to be that great on the clay anyway. Considering how good she is on a hard court, her game does translate very well to the fast hard courts. And I'm excited to see her back maybe on a hard court again later in the year. If she picks up a few wins in between on the grass and the clay, I'm going to be happy. But ultimately, I'm going to be keeping my eyes peeled for her probably a bit later in the year.
Yeah, what makes the Miami run more special now is how good Ostapenko has become since then. Because on that run, she beat Madison Keys, the Australian Open champion, Ostapenko. She also beat Badoza, Iga, and then lost in the final to Pegula. But just mental, isn't it? Like the players and in the semi-final she lost to Pegula. But the players she was able to beat, that she beat an Ostapenko, the new flavour of the month right now. Ostapenko, just a shout out to her, she's just blitzed everyone. She looks so good. we know we spoke about her record against Iga, how it's so lopsided, 6 wins, no losses. But to beat Saba in the final the way she did, probably more impressive because she just didn't give Saba a moment to breathe in that one.
Yeah, she completely demolished a breadstick in a final when you're the big underdog as well. She was at 4s coming into that. Sabalenka, a heavy favourite for the final. And she finds herself now at number 18 in the world, Ostapenko, with Roland Garros on the horizon. She's a former champion of Roland Garros, as we know as well. And can she keep climbing the rankings? Can she get closer to the top 10? We've got a couple more tournaments left before Roland Garros. If she wins another one, people are going to be looking to her to say, can she do it again at Roland Garros?
Yeah, where's Mukova been? She didn't play, did she, this last week? She's
No.
someone you've got inside your top 10. Looks like she's back here for Madrid. Let's get into the draw. We know Sabalenka is the number 1 seed. Iga's the number 2 seed. Beyond that, I'm not entirely sure, but we'll have to wait and see. I think it's probably Pegula and Gauff in that order. But let's start with the first one. So this is Sabalenka's section. Not much to really comment on here, apart from a few qualifiers early doors. And then if you're looking at the other side, you have Polina Kudermetova playing against Veronika Kudermetova. So the Kudermetova battle.
Crazy.
And you've got Raducanu opening her campaign against Lehmann. So Raducanu, potential quarterfinal matchup with Sabalenka. If you keep going down, you've got Marta Kostyuk, someone I believe you've got in your top 10, someone you like quite a bit. I don't think she's been that impressive, and I'm quite pleased because I don't think she's going to make the top 10 now. Going down,
Fernandez in the draw. We're going to have a look for that next.
Anisimova, I think that's another one you had winning a Grand Slam not too long ago. Not sure what she's up to.
She had a bit of a hiatus.
Qinwen Zheng, I've not seen much of her. She's not been making many headlines.
No, and somebody who needs to step up. Obviously, we know she's good on the clay. She won the Olympics on clay. She lost in Charleston against Alexandrova last event, and then Miami to Sabalenka. I think it was quarterfinals. So, yeah, back on the clay, faster clay will suit a big server in Qinwen Zheng. So let's see how she gets on. But this section, looking at the actual players that are the seeds, there's some strong ones in there. But I think Sabalenka will be fairly happy, I'd say, looking at this draw.
Considering how well she does at this tournament too, I think it's safe to say Sabalenka's draw's okay. I think she'll be quite pleased, and I would be surprised if she doesn't advance and beat all of these players in her quarter without too many problems. If I had to pick an unseeded player to look out for, probably going to be Polina Kudermetova, my girl. Why not? I think she is a fantastic player and can play on all surfaces. So this is her moment, Ben, to show you what she can do on the clay.
Yeah. The matchup I hope that we get, but I don't know if they'd like it, is obviously Sabalenka versus Badosa. Those two great friends, but if they have to meet again, I know that Badosa gets a bit down in the dumps if she loses to Sabalenka. But
when she loses.
Maybe it's a chance for revenge. She's made the semi-finals in Madrid before. She's in Spain. She'll have the crowd on her side. Will it matter?
She won't beat Saba.
I'm not so sure. Yeah, Qinwen Zheng obviously in this little section as well, though. We got Potapova in here for another unseeded name who does normally quite well. Kenin, we haven't really mentioned her. Could she do anything here? No. Lehmann's Raducanu. People probably look at that and just think, oh, Raducanu, she'll easily get through that. I'm not so sure. I think Lehmann's is actually not bad player from a few years ago when I didn't rate her whatsoever. Now I actually rate her a little bit higher.
If Raducanu plays like she did a month ago or so, then she'll be fine. She was very good. Was it in Miami?
Yeah,
and I think at that kind of level, she should be fine for players like Lehmann's. Let's move on to the next section. So this is still on the top half.
Pegula.
And it is the Pegula half or section of the draw. Initially, you're drawn to Rybakina up there in the top right. She is the 10th seed these days. You've got former Grand Slam champion Bianca Andreescu. I don't think we're ever going to see her best ever again. Ons Jabeur's interesting because her results at this tournament's fantastic. don't quote me if I might be wrong, but I think she's like 11 wins and 2 losses. I think she's done very well. I saw something earlier, a tweet, but I know she does very well at Madrid. And I remember one time when we was in Croatia, I believe she was in the final of Madrid
She
at
won
the
it.
time. Or
Yeah.
she won Madrid. Yeah, she's got a very good record here. So someone to consider. Loves this surface. Alexandrova, I can see she's creeping right at the bottom there. She's in good form, beating a lot of big players. Who else have we got? Kasatkina, Paulini. Here she is. This is dangerous, but I'm not sure how she's going to fare on these particular courts.
I still think she might do all right, to be honest. She's quite hard hitting. The only thing she's going to be lacking is the serve. But as long as she's not up against any serve bots, which the only one I can see would be Rybakina. Obviously, Rybakina made the semis, I believe, last year here. A danger on these courts. But who's to say Rybakina gets there? The way that her form's been, it's so up and down. We don't really know if she's going to be in top form coming into this. Svitolina, she just won a tournament.
Well, not
Albeit,
just that, Ben. Rybakina versus Paulini is a famous matchup where
yeah,
Paulini usually wins. She loves playing
exactly.
Rybakina, so I think it's a perfect player for her to have. And I'm liking her chances. Having a look through this, I
Yeah, it's not.
truly believe that Paulini has the ability to win this quarter. Obviously, you'd probably be looking at Pegula, the fact that it's a Masters event and she plays so well in Masters. But I think we'll see probably one of the big seeds advancing. I don't see any really unseeded players coming through here either. And I think it's similar to the other section with Saba. It seems like the big seeds will advance from this top half.
Can we see Cartel coming to life in this tournament?
A British player on clay never goes well.
Yeah, I would agree.
Let's hope Draper can change that. He may be Draper, if anyone, I think can maybe change that a little bit. But historically, British players and clay never goes very well together.
All right, so we'll move to the bottom half of the draw, go straight to Iga's section right at the bottom, and she could be facing potentially Alexandra Eala in round number 2. Come on, that's the matchup we all want, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think we will get it as well. If Eala can beat Tomova, we will get her versus Iga. I do think Iga will get revenge, though. On this surface, on the clay, Iga's got a bit of a point to prove. She's
Reigning
rattled.
champ.
She's rattled by Ostapenko, let's be fair.
Yeah.
Ostapenko's in her head. She's going to want to get some anger out. And we've seen Iga when she's that ruthless nature. We could see her like that in this event where people are starting to doubt her on the clay a little bit. People are starting to doubt her for Roland Garros, myself included. And this could be a big statement event, an opportunity where she's not really. People aren't looking at her thinking she's going to go and win it. The bookies are more towards Sabalenka or maybe someone else completely. But yeah, I think she'll be relatively pleased. And I think Eala, unfortunately for her, is in a really bad position and she's facing an Iga at the wrong time.
It's a terrible draw for Eala. I think we could see a potential bagel or something if they do play each other. That's my big fear. She's going to learn these courts, and the more that she gets to play these bigger tournaments now that she is higher in the rankings, I'm hoping that a couple of years' time, we're going to see her really challenging. I'm not expecting anything. I said at the start, I'm not expecting much. If she wins the first match, brilliant. So we're going to see her name in the lights again, and she'll get that big match against Iga on a big show court. It's going to be great, but I don't think she'll do too well unless Iga's having a really, really bad day at the office and sees her down the other end and completely throws it away, in my opinion. Other players in Iga's quarter, we've got Navarro in there as a seed, Noskova, somebody who's famously beaten Iga before in the past, albeit not on the clay courts. Schneider, Madison Keys, not really. Naomi Osaka in there as well.
You're missing someone big.
Oh, Ostapenko, there she is. How did I get past her?
I was waiting for you. At the moment I saw Ostapenko, I didn't realise she was on that same half.
No, I didn't either.
I feel like that is so comical. So, Iga,
so
Ostapenko, there is a high possibility we get that matchup again. And it would be a fourth round match in Madrid on the clay. Ostapenko's just beaten her. Could we be looking at 7 straight victories? I truly do believe we're going to get that one. Ostapenko is I think it's a real good popcorn match because there's not that much love between the two players, and Iga's going to be desperate to win it. Is she going to get in her own head? Maybe. And I think Ostapenko has got to be favourite.
I think it's the worst thing right now for Iga is every time you see that matchup, you're definitely in your own head. You're like, how am I not beating her yet? Come on, I'm better than her.
She's
She
coming
probably
close sometimes.
it was 3 sets, the last one. I
Yeah,
remember there was one, I think it was a few years ago, where it was literally a final set tiebreak, I think, where she lost. It was over in the Middle East somewhere.
yeah.
But that was the closest she's come to beating Ostapenko. And I think that one rattled her so badly that she went on to lose the next few. Yeah, if she has to play her, it's not going to be pretty. I think that's a given now.
And she gets a bye as well. Ostapenko now a seed where she gets a nice little bye.
Iga's going to be hoping that someone like Pavlyuchenkova knocks her out of the tournament early because she don't want to face her.
And the way she's playing, she's going to be a higher seed than what she is at the moment for Roland Garros. So someone to watch. We know she can do very well at Roland Garros. Is she going to roll back the years? I think a good outside pick.
Yes, most definitely, especially being in that form. How can you just beat Sabalenka in that final in that fashion? It was just crazy.
Yeah.
I don't know how good Madison Keys is really at Madrid, so I'm not going to be looking too much into that. Kalinskaya, good player. Not seen too much of her of late. Vekic, another one, can be up and down, but yeah, this section really, I think, is going to be won by someone on this right-hand side. Just don't know who.
Yeah, I think Ostapenko, Iga is going to define this one. I'd like to say that Vekic can do something special, but yeah, I'm not big on Keys on this surface right now in Madrid.
Yeah, that's making me rethink the thumbnail for this altogether now. I have to go back to the drawing board.
I think we need to have Ostapenko and Iga on that
exactly.
somehow.
Exactly. I think I've got to completely change it. Never mind. And now the other half of the section down the bottom, Mira Andreeva. This is another person that we need to speak about. She hasn't looked great. I think she lost, was it to Alexandrova in one of the last tournaments? But I think we can forgive her. She's still very young. Can't expect her to win every single event that she's entering.
I mean, Alexandrova's good.
Yeah.
I don't even think that's a bad loss at all. On clay, it can happen. But this is not the Andreeva section, right? This must be the Coco Gauff section.
Yeah, it's down
so who's she got? So Yastremska or qualifier.
Nice.
You got Leylah Fernandez in that a little bit. How many times do we get Leylah Fernandez, Gauff, or we could get that matchup? I always predict it, and then I always have Fernandez beating Gauff. Never happens. Never happens. But I may do the same again. You never know. There's your girl, Mukova. She's back.
Yep.
Samsonova, I hope she knocks her out because I don't need her gaining too many points.
Yeah, keep moving up. We got Freck in there. Clara Towson, someone who's having a good year so far. Belinda Bencic as well, somebody who's back on the tour and looking good again. But Andreeva, the names that jump off the page in this section, definitely Andreeva, definitely Mukova, and Gauff, really.
Leylah Fernandez.
Doesn't really jump off the page to me, but I don't want to be too dismissive.
One day she's going to beat Coco Gauff. Maybe that day is right now. Coco is not in form. She's struggling. And why can't Leylah do something special? It'll have to be 3 sets, though.
Quick check on Gauff at Madrid. Yeah, best of 4th round before. Played it 4 times. Yeah, I don't know. I really don't know on Coco Gauff right now. I know I've gone big on her for the year, but I've not really been impressed with her over the past few weeks. This is a real pick'em section, to be honest. Really, neither Mukova's never really done well at this event either. Maybe this is the chance for Mira Andreeva to step up at Madrid and get back on track again, because I think she could win this section.
Yeah, so just back to Ostapenko. She won Roland Garros in 2017 and didn't win another title on clay for 8 years. And then just rocks up in 2025. She's a weird player. And I don't even know if it's her peak right now. I just feel like she could just turn it on like a tap. And sometimes it can be really good and other times it can be really bad. So this version of Ostapenko is scary right now. And when the tap's on, like she's been playing this last week, like she was playing in 2017 at Roland Garros, she will probably win this event. I think she can do that. So Ostapenko has to be on that farm now, and I can't even move past the other quarter. I feel like we're talking about this one, but I can't move away from the last one. And Andreeva, I would like to see her win this whole quarter, and I want to see her against an Ostapenko. That is the semi-final I'd like to see at the bottom.
I'll just put her back on the screen again
No,
for you.
I think that's what I need. I need an Ostapenko, Mira Andreeva semi-final because I think that's an exciting, interesting matchup. Iga won't be very pleased about it.
When you see this, imagine you're Iga Swiatek right now, the draw comes out, you've just lost, obviously, your match against Ostapenko. You can't quite believe that you've lost another one, 6 in a row, and then this draw comes out. Do you think this will affect the matches leading up to a potential another matchup with her? Or do you think that she will just be blocking that one out and be taking each match as it comes? Because she can't ignore the fact that Ostapenko's right there in the draw again.
I mean, I'm just watching Ostapenko right now driving around on the court. I don't know if you've seen that. She's got one hand on the wheel and she's driving around the court. Iga's probably fuming, but she's a funny character, I think. Not many people like her. Some people love her. She's a bit of like Marmite. Iga certainly don't like her. And I think that is the big story of this draw if they're going to play again. But I do want to see Mira Andreeva do well because I think it's a great test. Someone young and the way she plays the game so freely and has so many weapons and great defense as well against an Ostapenko. I still don't think it's enough if Ostapenko plays brilliant, but it could be a good, interesting matchup. But that's some of my thoughts. Let us know yours in the comment section below. Of course, this is just our initial draw reaction. This is not our final predictions. We'll do something at some point. But let us know what you think in the comment section.
That's it. And if you haven't done so yet, follow us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts as well. But yeah, join us for the draw previews. They'll be coming up over the next couple of days and we'll be telling you who we think will win Madrid.
Thanks for watching. See you soon.